Since I'm editing reviews on a cold and rainy Sunday morning, let's have a look at a bus from the Sunshine State. Hello, welcome back to TalkingPlanning. Today I'm on a 250 bus heading out to Redlands Bay Marina, where I'm actually not sure what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I am on a Mercedes O500LE, which Transdev Caliber absolutely loves, and almost all of their fleet is basically these. And this one has a Volgren body, so join me for the ride on this before we work out what else we're going to do around this part of town for the day. Transdev is the main operator for the Redlands and operates a large fleet of Mercedes O500LEs in three main flavours: Bustech, Custom Coaches and Volgren. Since 2006, most new low-floor buses at Transdev have been Mercedes O500LEs, with the odd Volvo B12 BLE CB60 Evo 2 thrown in for good measure in 2008. These buses regularly make their way along the wide roads around Capalaba, Alex Hills, Cleveland and Redland Bay. While much of southeast Queensland's population growth has been centred around Logan, Ipswich and Moreton Bay, there is a little bit of growth in the Redlands, and you'll see the odd housing estate or two popping up, much to the dismay of NIMBYs. NIMBY is an acronym for Not in My Backyard and refers to the frequent opposition to development projects, which is a constant difficulty that planners face. Recent housing strategies seem to have really ignited the anti-development fire, and Facebook comments light up with comments like "absolutely no unit development" or "ban people moving to the Redlands." Planners have a lot of consideration that goes into these decisions, and we don't always get it right. But if your response to where something should be located is just not here, not liking something is something that we don't really take as a particularly compelling reason. Think of it this way: when you were a kid, you absolutely hated eating your veggies, but your parents made you eat those vegetables so that you could go and have your dessert. There's a good reason for this. The veggies, so to speak, are housing choices other than low-density single-family dwellings. Things that certainly I've found in Newcastle we're quite comfortable with, like granny flats, duplexes and small-scale apartment complexes. And unfortunately, not eating those veggies is causing southeast Queensland to have a few tooth cavities. There's a clear lack of veggies in the diet, with a clear housing choice problem. Poorly considered restrictions on granny flats or even outright bans, duplexes restricted or banned in some low-density areas, and just a general dislike of greenfield development, and it's showing its cracks. I think one day we'll get past it and things will click, but it might just take people realising that they can't find a property that suits their lifestyle for change to actually happen. Unfortunately, the low frequency of public transport in the Redlands kind of fuels this chicken and the egg problem, where transport frequencies don't improve due to low patronage, and property offerings don't change due to limited public transport offerings. So with that, let's actually get back to today's bus. Volgren CR228L bodied Mercs were built between November 2011 and September 2012, and with their polished steel handrails and bench seats, they look a little more modern inside than earlier Bustech vehicles. If you're familiar with Transdev, this seat fabric should come as no surprise to you, and it is prominently featured on this bus. Today's review was filmed on board a 250 service, and yes, I really did travel all the way from Carindale to Redland Bay Marina on the same bus. Speaking of which, 552 was today's chariot, which is from the 2011 batch of Volgren Mercedes deliveries. By now, you should know O500LE specs back to front on this channel, as I've checked out loads of them. This is a Euro 5 model, with the well-proven 11.97 litre diesel, 300 horsepower and a 6-speed ZF, so let's have a listen now. Likely due to slow growth in the Redlands, Transdev had quite a long period of time where they just didn't buy any new buses, and that period followed just after the delivery of these Mercs in 2012, along with a few bus techs delivered around the same time. It wasn't until 6 years later, in 2018, that a few new buses trickled into the fleet, consisting of newer Busweek O500LEs. Compared to other bus interiors, I've always found these Transdev buses quite dark inside, as they pair dark flooring, a dark seat fabric, and metal finishings just about everywhere. They do tend to stay fairly clean though, which for buses in Brisbane isn't always a given, and the design is fairly contemporary. One downside is that the aircon duct covers tend to come loose over time and start to rattle, like you can see here. And now we start passing by the new ramp-worthy interchange, which, instead of just having buses pull into a side street, involves now crossing way too many lanes of traffic to be safe for those with limited mobility, and it makes it really difficult to make your way into the shopping centre. There are also more new build properties on the way, which I used to see on a regular basis when I drove out to the marina when I used to work on Carragara Island. As much as I like using public transport for commuting, the day would have just been far too long to get out to the island by bus, with 3 buses and a ferry each way, so the car was a logical commute for me. But since we're almost at the marina, let's sit back and relax as we make our way into the interchange. And of course, if you've enjoyed today's review, there are a selection of excellent buttons down below that you are more than welcome to push. And while we're here, why not go and check out my onward journey when I caught Calamaru, one of the Bay Island ferries, over to Russell Island. Once again, thank you for joining me on Talking Planning, and I'll see you again soon.